welcome back to I'll Hang Up and Listen, brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room with over 300 beers to choose from, one of which many of us can use to drown away what it was that we just witnessed. Sabres losing to Pittsburgh 6-5 in overtime after taking an early lead twice, two different 2-goal leads. Make sure you get over to Fatty Beer for all of your adult beverage needs. Make sure you let them know that 2 goalies, one Mike sent you. You can find them at Fatty Beer on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook, fattybeer.com, and, of course, Buffalo Logo Apparel, one of the better places to get any of your Buffalo sports apparel needs, whether your shirts, your hats, your hoodies. Make sure you check it out. We have some of our stuff up there, Sabres stuff. Absolutely go support the cause. So Sabres lose 6-5 in dramatic fashion. Some controversy. Game was on TNT tonight. I know some people were pretty upset about some of the commentating during the game, but let's just get right into it, Hurls. What was that?
It's inexcusable is what it is. You have a 3-1 lead. You chase the Penguins starting goaltender 10 minutes into the game. You're playing a 22-year-old rookie goalie who's basically had no NHL experience, and you let him get into a rhythm. You let him find his groove. And then, even after all of that, you lose the lead. You let not only Sidney Crosby get his 1,600th point in the NHL, you also let Evgeny Malkin get his 500th goal in the NHL. Two of the best players in NHL history, both achieved milestones. I think Sidney Crosby's actually had all 1,600 of his points against the Sabres.
He might, yeah.
Yeah, in his time in the NHL.
And Johnny Lazarus, Lazzy, he called it too. And, he could kick rocks. He could sit on a bike with no seat for all I care. He's sticking up our hole right now. Rubbing salt in the wound on Twitter.
Crosby has like 85 points in 57 career games against the Sabres. So
it's obnoxious.
It's almost 2 points a game, which is just insanely depressing. So you give up a milestone to Malkin, but then out of nowhere, when it looks as bleak as it can possibly be, you retain the lead. Thank God for JJ Peterka. He's healthy. He looks amazing. He had an incredible night. And we can get into him in a little bit in terms of what I think they should do, which we mentioned on the last show. And then Ryan McLeod, who I thought looked great as well, and I thought he's been pretty good all 5 games this season, gets you the lead back, and then you lose it again, and then you lose in overtime. The mental fortitude wasn't quite there. Again, I don't blame it on Lindy, but this team is inexperienced, and they don't have that second gear, which allows them to keep a lead and hold a lead, at least quite yet this early in the season. So it's extremely disappointing. The bright side, I guess they played pretty well, and they get a loser point, which they didn't get much of last season.
Yeah, it's like I said, there was a quick start, a lot to be excited about. I know both me and you were, especially with the way some of these games have started with the slow starts, especially over in Prague. Sabres started quick. I love that goal from Greenway. Let's just talk about Jordan Greenway for a second. Find some positives. If this guy is going to play like this, extend him tomorrow. Extend him tomorrow because he is a prototypical Lindy Ruff player. Reminds me a little bit of Gaustad, just a little more skill. Great on the penalty kill. Guy lays his body. He blocked a shot there before they eventually went into overtime. Lowers the shoulder, goes to the net. I love Jordan Greenway, man. I know he's taking kind of a bad rap from fans, with his slow start as a Sabre, but I think this is the best we've ever seen Jordan Greenway play.
Yeah, he's been good. That entire line has been really good. Ryan McLeod, Jordan Greenway, and Zach Benson. They were probably the best Sabres line tonight. And I would say over the course of the season, obviously with the Peterka injury, you can't quite know how that top line has fully been at this point. And they were really good tonight too. They created a lot of different chances. Tuck has 2 points. Peterka has 2 goals. Tage obviously gets another goal, and he's off to a pretty good start this season. But that line has been really good as well. And I think the fourth line has done a pretty good job in terms of what their role has been in terms of being somewhat responsible defensively. But the line that Zucker's been on the line with Greenway and McLeod. Benson was with Cousins and Quinn tonight. But that's kind of what I was getting to, that Dylan Cousins and Jack Quinn have been absolutely abysmal to begin the season. Two players, at least Jack Quinn, that we were really, really excited about going into this year in terms of what his potential would be, obviously coming off the 2 injuries last season, which may have a factor, and maybe it could be a slow start like Alex Tuck had at the beginning of last season. He might still be a little bit hurt, but Dylan Cousins doesn't have much of an excuse. He's gotten some shots on net. I think he's had 19 shots in 5 games this season. He's at least creating some opportunities, but his goal scoring touch from 2 seasons ago seems to be completely zapped. He's gripping his stick too tight. He doesn't have the presence of mind in front of the net that he quite had during that 30-goal season in 2022, 2023. And he had an absolutely abysmal giveaway in the power play, which led to the shorthanded goal, which changed the entire game. Yeah. So what I was getting to earlier, I think you put Peterka with Dylan Cousins and Jack Quinn. You bring some of that chemistry back that you had in that 2022-2023 season. You bring the kid line back. You bring some of those good feelings. And you put Zach Benson up on the first line with Tage and Tuck. And I think we've kind of proven that Zach Benson can play with anybody. He's been very, very good. Yeah. That's my suggestion. I don't know if Lindy listens to us. But,
he listens. He definitely listens.
Yeah, I know. He's listening right now, probably.
He's listening right now. He's taking pointers from us for his post-game presser. And did we not call this during the offseason, this depending on variables like progression, not regression? I think we pointed to guys like Quinn, particularly, like, what if this guy regresses, like much like the way, Cousins did last year? Look at Cousins. He's been invisible. And this is coming after a game against Florida where they looked very good. They had a lot of chances. And I think was Kulik on that line with them?
Right, yeah.
And then I didn't agree with him being a healthy scratch. Like, I get it. Somebody's got to kind of bite the bullet to get Peterka back in the lineup. But, like, what is that stupid penalty Zucker took? What has he done to justify being in this lineup over Kulik, who's looked good?
I will say the Zucker, Greenway, and McLeod line was generally pretty good this game specifically. Yeah. And I would say that, he hasn't been amazing, but like, what did we really expect from Jason Zucker? Obviously, they signed him to that contract, and they probably overpaid a little bit. But he's a 32-year-old, no more than 50 points a year type guy who was at his best when he was playing with Crosby and Malkin 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I don't necessarily know what I expected from Jason Zucker. And I think Yuri Kulik is a little bit more upside, but I also don't think Jason Zucker is necessarily the problem right now. And I would argue that Dylan Cousins hasn't necessarily been invisible, but he hasn't been good. Like, the chances that he's creating, like, he's getting himself to good areas, but he's firing muffin shots on net directly into the goalie's chest. And he's not creating high-quality chances that we've seen from Tuck and Peterka and Tage Thompson. So I think he has a little bit of a confidence issue at this point, and you can only hope that will be solved by just seeing the puck go in, which is inevitably going to happen at this point.
Yeah.
I really hope so, at least, because he's too young to give up on, and he obviously has the 7-year, $7.3 or $4 million deal that I think just kicked in.
They got to figure it out with him sooner rather than later.
Well, you can't give up on the guy, right?
No.
He's 22, 23 years old, but he's clearly not in the right situation right now, especially him and Quinn playing together, who is probably still injured or at least like not in the best hockey shape coming off 2 injuries all of last season. I think you put Peterka with them and see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, just find some semblance of chemistry. I'm like, it shouldn't have to take something like that, though, like, for him to play at even a quality level. And no. I agree with it, though. But, like,
no, but like, it's more, I do think it's a spark, and it's a confidence thing, right? Like, he's getting chances, but he's not capitalizing on his chances. And a guy like Peterka, who seems to be at least like gratifying what we thought was really good about him last season, he's proven that he is that player.
Yeah.
So if you put a guy like that with a guy who has previously played well and that line has had chemistry in the past, maybe that's what it takes to unlock the old Dylan Cousins. But this line currently, I don't think is enough. Zach Benson's a great player, and I think he can play with anybody, but he's not creating as many chances as JJ Peterka would.
No, he's not. Our buddy Mauricio here. I'm going to try and get to some of these comments. I know we don't have a ton of time tonight. I'm speechless. Too many mistakes, penalties, poor defensive coverage, poor back checking. Second line, Cousins or Quinn or Benson needs to be healthy scratch. -3 atrocious turnovers. There's nothing in there that we can disagree with.
No.
Like, there's nothing in there we can disagree with.
Aside from his lack of punctuation.
Yes, it's true. I think that's just his thing, and I think I'm okay with it now at this point. Mauricio is here with us after every single game.
Shout out Mauricio.
Right. Team lacks leadership, urgency, attention to small details. Up 2 goals, lost the lead. Up a goal, last 7 minutes, lost lead again. No attention to play smart with puck. Poor defensive coverage, choke job. Again, there's nothing there I can disagree with. Got a lot of new watchers here, Grant. This team still stinks.
What was the comment last time? Like, they paid this bum.
Yeah, oh my God, man. It's funny. I got to put a catalog of after losses. I'm just take screenshots of some of these comments because it's great. It really genuinely is.
It's better than
I hate celebrating it because they lost, but like at this point, what can you do?
Well, I mean, some of our best shows are following
After
losses because people are passionate and they want to see this team perform. And the eternal optimist in me is saying that since they've been back in the United States, I do think they have at least deserved, is it 3 games or 4? It's 3.
Yep.
Yeah. I think they've deserved to win. There's the deserve to win meter. Obviously, that doesn't mean anything.
I don't want to talk about the deserve to win meter because that meter said we should have won one of those 2 games in Prague, and I completely disagree.
Well, I would say the first one they played really well. They didn't deserve to win the second one, that's for sure. At least since they've been back in America, they've played really well.
Yeah.
Especially tonight, they deserve to win, and they also deserve to lose, given the mistakes that they made, obviously. But the Penguins aren't a bad team, and they shot themselves in the foot and lost the game. So, of course, it's frustrating. Of course, we can just cherry pick and say this team just stinks and there's no other way around it. But I'm at least slightly encouraged by some of the line combinations, some of the shot creation, some of the talent that obviously is still on this team. And they just need to clean things up a little bit. And I do believe they will. Tomorrow night, obviously, against a Blue Jackets team that didn't even win on their home opener on Johnny Gaudreau night. That is a must win.
I agree.
That is a must win, can't lose situation.
Have to be Columbus. You
have to be Columbus. And you have to beat Chicago on Saturday.
Kulik, I mean, to Grant's point here, Kulik should be in the next game, correct? I mean, there's a handful of guys in there that you could reasonably put in the press box.
Yeah, and I wouldn't put it past Lindy to do that. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, I again, dude, there's so many cops. Got beat by 3 legends and a trip. Got beat by 3 legends and a trip. Yeah, there was a trip there late in the third period that I don't know what happened and how that wasn't called. I'm not sure if you're the one that know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
30 seconds left, like because it's the Sabres. Does Devin Levi win them this game?
I would say UPL didn't have his best night. I would say he definitely.
I hated the third goal, dude. I hated it so much by
Puljujärvi or O'Connor.
Puljujärvi. He made himself so small.
Well,
he didn't have his hands out in front of him. Like, right. I get you're trying to seal the ice, right. But like, dude, you were down before he even turned to make that move.
He was too far back in his net, but I will say that Puljujärvi put himself in a good position. He was wide open in front of the net, number 1. And number 2, he made a nice shot with a backhand, which, as we know, is the hardest shot to save.
It is, but like, you got to have your hands out in front of you.
I personally didn't like the second goal, the shorthanded goal.
Neither did I. Odd man rush, but you need to save that.
No, but like if you look at his reaction to that, he was pissed. Like he knew he should have had that. And I would say, from what we saw from him in the second half of last season, he makes that save 9 times out of 10. So his start to this year is definitely more reminiscent of the inconsistent UPL that we were used to before he went on that generational run in the second half of last year. Mm-hmm. And it is slightly concerning because we did say, of course, like he got the contract and he earned the contract from his play last season, especially in the second half, but he has yet to put a full season of a body of work together. Mm-hmm. And that has been the issue with him his entire career. He's obviously still very young, and so is Devin Levi, and he was also inconsistent last year. But if we're talking 3 starts to 2 starts into this season, unquestionably, Devin Levi has been the better goalie. Mm-hmm. And that is the luxury of having 2 guys that you can hopefully trust. So
I think what UPL, like, and I know in his opening press conference, Lindy was like, yeah, it's easy to remember his name. It's UPL, yada, yada. But he also later on in training camp said, like, hey, listen, like, we're going to go with essentially said it without saying it. We're going to go with the guy who's going to give us the best chance to win.
And we know that better than anybody.
Yeah. Right? I remember I was talking, shout out to my buddy Mike Flatley. He reminded me of after we traded Hasek, that like they went with like Mika Norden once for like an insane amount of games in a row until he finally lost. And and that was obviously under Lindy. And like he goes, he's not afraid to just go with the hot hand.
And I would say that UPL probably would also understand that. He knows that it's not 100% his net. Devin Levi was brought into the organization by trading Sam Reinhart, who was an MVP candidate last year and a Conn Smythe candidate. Did he win? He didn't win the Conn Smythe, did he?
Who?
Sam Reinhart.
No, McDavid did.
McDavid, yeah, as he should have. But he was probably the number 2 candidate for the Conn Smythe.
Yeah,
in the playoffs.
Incredible season.
So he has to know that Devin Levi is the future of the Sabres organization if he gives up that net in any capacity whatsoever. If he continues to play like he did tonight, and Levi continues to play like he did on Saturday, and even in the second game in Prague, it's his net. There's no way in hell that Lindy is just going to play UPL just because they signed him to that contract. There's no way.
Yep.
So at least all of us can take some solace in that he's going to play the guy who's playing better. And I had a lot of people, my friends say to me tonight that if Levi goes out tomorrow night and plays well again in a win against the Blue Jackets, he plays on Saturday.
It's his net, in my opinion.
He plays on Saturday. Well, I wouldn't say it's his net for the rest of the season, but he has the opportunity to earn way more time.
And not a good look because you just signed UPL to that contract. And granted, it's not a huge contract, but but damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like if you're Adams in that position, like
it's a bridge deal.
I'm not mad about it.
No,
but you could be looking at a very similar Olmark Swayman situation where you have these guys for a couple of years,
and that's not a bad problem to have.
Not, but you also need that level of a team in front of both of them that Boston had, which we don't. From UPL playing the puck on the delayed icing to Power doing nothing in front of the net on the game-tying goal, and Tage trying to get a piece of Malkin and OT. Just foolish mistakes tonight. I couldn't believe Michael Meyer. Shout out Halloween. I love it. But yeah, I couldn't agree with all of that anymore. Like it's just, Owen Power has looked fantastic up until tonight. Not that I'm saying he had a terrible game, but
wasn't his best game.
Wasn't his best. But again, and I talked about this with Mike last night. We were talking about slow starts, and there's one thing that will with Lindy is he's not going to allow things to fester or bad habits to form for a very long time once they start to show. And, I would say that Owen Power will be a beneficiary of that. So I would hope that Lindy pulls him aside either after this game, tomorrow morning at the morning skate, and just have a talk with him, because that's inexcusable. That is inexcusable for a guy his size. Again, looking like you're on an island by yourself, just not being aware of what's around you.
Right. Yeah, definitely a lot of foolish mistakes tonight from a variety of different people, not just UPL, not just the defense, of course, the forwards as well, which puts you in a situation to blow a 2-goal lead and a 1-goal lead late in the game and then lose in overtime. I think there were some positives, as we said. I think Tage and Tuck look really good, and that is a good thing for this team moving forward. Yep. Didn't have too many power play opportunities tonight, but obviously that needs to get going. They're not going to be successful if they can't score on the power play. And yeah, as we said, Peterka looked incredible, and especially coming off a concussion in his first game back from a concussion. On one of his breakaways, the one that he didn't score on that went off the post, and Blomqvist got pretty lucky with the way that it bounced. He almost looked McDavid-esque with the speed that he was able to cut through the
how
defenders.
Quickly he takes off.
Exactly. And I don't use that term lightly, but if you have those traits and you have that skill set and he's 22, 23 years old, that's an incredible sign moving forward for Peterka. So I'm happy about that. I think Dahlin looked a little bit better. I like Byron's game so far. There's some things to clean up, and it is still early. And I think we can all at least take a collective deep breath knowing that after the first 2 games in Prague, in a weird situation, the season is not over. The season is far from over.
No.
But they do need to win games like this.
Again, you had a 2-goal lead twice tonight. Twice. Well,
2-goal lead and a 1-goal lead.
Yeah, like it's just inexcusable. And I don't know, man. I just part of it, UPL not having a great game, like defense having mental lapses, not getting enough from your core players. I mean, I know we got a goal from Tage tonight. I know Tuck had a good game. I know Peterka had a good game, but like that second line just being so invisible out there tonight, and just not even that. It's not even like you can survive if your second line isn't contributing, but the fact that they were hurting you so much tonight, turnovers and just leading to goals, so I don't know, man.
I would hope that the combination of Lindy and Kevin Adams look at that situation like Brandon Bean looked at the Bills wide receiver situation. It is a clear, especially forward depth, which we talked about going into the season, a significant amount, is a clear weakness on the team. It's hurting the team. It's not giving them a chance. Well, the Bills have a championship window, but it's not giving the Sabres a chance to even contend for the playoffs given the current situation. So you either make a change within the lineup and with the line combinations, or if you're Kevin Adams, you do whatever you can with your picks and your prospects and the deepest and the youngest prospect pool in the league to go out and get a forward from a struggling team. Let's say that's
somebody.
Let's say that's the Blue Jackets. Say that's the Blackhawks. Say that's anybody. You need to make this team. Oh, you say you want to win now? Prove it. The Bills are in win now mode. The Bills went out and got Amari Cooper. Brandon Bean surveyed the trade market, saw the Jets go out and get Devontae Adams, and then he got the next best thing 20 minutes later. Arguably just as good given the contract situation. So Kevin Adams and Terry Begula need to prove that they care about this team. They don't, as much as they do the Bills. Or at least show us something. Show us literally anything that prove you care even a slight amount about this team. Because they haven't so far.
They can't just keep doing this, man.
Well, they are.
It's not like it just can't. Just can't. Like I'm looking at a lot of the comments. This Joey Hatch guy, he's really on the same page with us. It's like you literally can't root for them anymore. They literally don't get it, and it's a sad excuse for an NHL franchise in reference to management. If it's true, it's so true.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is, and it's disappointing for us as fans because we obviously fans cover the team, everybody, even media members. I'm sure it's frustrating because their work is better when the team is succeeding, and our show may be better when people are pissed, but everybody wants to see them win. Nobody wants to come out here.
Nobody wants to have. I don't want to keep having these shows, man. I just don't. I'm so fucking sick and tired of it, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking. I'm sorry, Steve. Producer Steve here, Duane. I'm surprised you're so level-headed. You're all level after this one. We're 5 games in with 3 fucking points. It's absolutely embarrassing. It's truly shameful to admit to people I'm a Sabres fan. It's true though. It's true. Like. I just want to wear my Sabre shit out in public and not have, how about that one? Like, just be a fucking running joke now for looking like 14 years. I know we're only 5 games into the season, but 3 points out of a possible 10, this is inexcusable. You have the team that you wanted to build. You like Mike said on the show with us last night, like, for 5 of the previous 6 periods, that is the way Lindy wants his team to play, and it's proved dividends. But okay, offensively, you had a good game tonight, but like 5-on-5, sure. But again, can we just put together 2 games in a row of 60 minutes of fucking solid hockey? Just like, I don't want to sit here through another season of wondering when we're gonna win 2 games in a row, 3 games in a row. God, it was like a reason to celebrate. We won back-to-back games, Hurls.
Yeah, that's true. It took a while last year, and hopefully it won't. And I will say, good cop, bad cop type situation. Yeah, bad loss tonight, but I'm still at least slightly encouraged that they can turn it around. And I don't necessarily think a trade needs to happen, because I do think this group is capable, especially if Cousins and Quinn start playing a little bit better. But they can't lose games like this. They cannot lose games like this moving forward. If they continue to lose games like this, I won't necessarily blame the coaching staff, but it speaks to the mental fortitude of the group. It does. And maybe the players aren't prepared for it, and I'm not going to blame Lindy, but at the same time, if you're up 2 goals in the first period and you chase the starter from the net and you're playing a 22-year-old rookie goaltender, you got to win that game. No questions asked. And that is the offense, defense, and goaltending working together cohesively. Point blank, period.
Yeah. Here's another great comment from Joey Hatch. I've been watching Buffalo Sabres hockey almost my whole life. I'm 47 years old, and I've never seen a franchise take so long to rebuild the team in my entire life. Yeah.
It's bad.
It's so bad. Another also producer Steve. The franchise is a punchline. The players need a higher standard. Management needs to be held to a higher standard. Fans need a higher standard of team to support. Heads need to fucking roll. Again, I agree. I agree.
I mean, as we said, though, it's not going to be Lindy, and it's obviously not going to be Terry unless he sells the team, which, there were rumors. But it's Adams. If they continue along this path, and let's say through 5 games we have 3 points. If through 10 games we have 5 points or less, pressure's on. These are the moves you made in the offseason, or these are the moves you didn't make. And this is what you got for
it. Good comment. If this is a home game, does the Jeff Skinner Memorial Scoreboard win us this game?
This is how we win.
Does Kickstart My Heart?
All right, I'm done.
Oh God, man. This is beast time. UPL, let the door open and watch the Jedi take over now. I think that it's definitely his game tomorrow. And how can you
it's a big opportunity for him.
Yeah, I agree. So your thoughts on Crosby getting 1,600 and Malkin getting 500, and
I don't care.
How fun it's been, especially to watch Crosby over his career.
I don't care. He's absolutely torched the Sabres, and I'm pissed about it.
I have to bring it up, though, man, because it is a milestone. Granted, every single, whether it's a meaningless milestone or a big milestone, some rookie, no-name goalie coming back from being down 3-1 coming into a game and leading this game, making him look like prime Dominik Hasek out there.
I mean, credit to him, though. He made some big plays.
Oh, for sure. But, you said at the beginning, you let him get into a rhythm. You got comfortable with a 2-goal lead, and you let it bite you in the ass.
I mean, if that Peterka breakaway goes in, it is a different game, and that was just really, really unlucky. The one that hit the post that went under him and then shot back, even Lance texted us, was just like, how did that not go in? And when you look at the above replay angle, that's just really bad luck. And that sucks. Sometimes that happens in the game of hockey, especially as a goalie. I've had my fair share of it go for and against me over the years. But you got to put yourself in a better position to not allow luck to be the determinant for the whole game. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Any final thoughts before we head out of here?
Yeah, it is extremely disappointing. It's frustrating. Every fan that is commenting with us, we obviously appreciate it. And some of the most enlightened and level-headed and I would say intelligent comments about this team come after losses, because you can take a hard look at this team and where they are currently and where they are going into the next game, and then you go from there. But no matter what you want to think, no matter how optimistic or pessimistic you want to be, you look at this game and you can't lose it. That's it. Thankfully, you can turn right around, bury it, go into Columbus tomorrow and get a win, and then we'll all hopefully feel a little bit better, and maybe even get to 3-3-1 with beating the Blackhawks on Saturday. As I look at 1,400 shit emojis on, on my screen. That about sums it up.
The peanut gallery is just the gift that keeps on giving, man. It really is.
I will say this, though, Mr. Hatch. I appreciate your passion. I appreciate your pessimism because it's completely warranted and completely validated. You will specifically feel better if this team goes to Columbus and wins tomorrow night in regulation and then goes to Chicago on Saturday and wins in regulation. Because those are two very, very feasible opportunities for this team. And at which point, through 7 games, they will be 3-3-1, and we will all feel significantly better. So that's what I want. Through all of the anger and the frustration, I do want people to hold on to that possibility. That's my final thought.
I just that's the Jeff Skinner Memorial Scoreboard. What is this game?
This is how we win.
This is how we win, man. This is
how we lose.
Oh, I love in Michael Scott voice. I love milestones. I love to be a part of one someday.
Every single popular Michael Scott gif is how I feel about this game. The cringing one, oh God, please no.
Oh man, The Office just applies to so much stuff. When it comes to this team, you can literally find just a meme for any situation, Office related. And I do want to bring up one last comment here from Mauricio, directed directly at you, that I thought was pretty funny.
It's gonna be Callie Weathers, Pool. Fuck yeah. Are you moonlighting as Farrell and semi-pro? So I saw Semi-Pro for the first time a long time ago, and I haven't seen it since. So I can't fully appreciate the reference.
Oh, it's such a good movie.
As soon as I get off here, Mauricio, I'll look it up, and then I'll come back. I'll come back to you. He must have had red hair and a big beard and wore a headband.
He didn't have a red beard, but he wore a headband, and you're wearing a basketball jersey. So I think that's the correlation.
Technically a lacrosse penny. So joke's on you,
Mauricio. My final thoughts are this, man. You got to go into Columbus and punch him right in the mouth. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You just can't. You
can't expect to win either.
You cannot lose to that team. You need to treat Columbus the way you treated Florida in terms of desperation.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You have to.
They played desperate on Saturday.
Yeah, so no disrespect to Crosby and Malkin. I never liked either one because the league was so filled with guys who played tough to win and love the game. Thanks to Crosby, all we have now are crybaby rich boys. Oh, man. Well, anyways, guys, this has been I'll Hang Up and Listen, brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room, with over 300 beers to choose from at all of their locations, live entertainment, trivia, and of course, you could take in a Sabres game, if you feel like, I don't know, doing that in public. I don't know, or a Bills game. They play have another big matchup here. Is it
Sunday?
Is it Sunday afternoon? It's not a 1 o'clock game, right?
10 a.m. Pacific.
Oh, okay. So it's 7 o'clock start.
1 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I thought you said 10 p.m. I was
no, 10 a.m. Pacific.
I thought we were done with the 1 o'clock games.
No, one more at home, at least for a little bit.
Anyways, watch the Sabres game, Bills game, go to Fatty Beer, let them know we sent you. Try the F Yeah beer. It's great. I'm not a huge drinker, but that one is tasty. It's a mango, has a mango kick to it. So, but yeah, so you guys have a great night. As always, go Sabres, and don't drink too much tonight.